plus 80% of consumption, annual consumption. To meet this growing demand, the installed capacity is expected to grow from 20 gigawatts to 55 gigawatts in 2035. And that's even more important, that 25 gigawatts will come from new renewables energy sources, mostly wind and solar. To integrate and transmit such amount of new energy, it's necessary to hugely expand the generation and transmission networks. The lengths of transmission lines will increase from 11,000 to almost 20,000 kilometers by 2035. That's very ambitious plans. And we need not only to discuss these plans, but also understand, is it possible and what are the challenges? But before it, next slide. To transform this sector, it will be required almost $50 billion of investments, total in generation, grids, and batteries. Development of new capabilities, skills, systems to design, build, and operate this new energy system. But at the same time, if it's successful, it will allow the country, first of all, absence of energy supply and no supply interruptions by 2035, and achieving in the portfolio of generation almost 50% of green energy. As I said, mostly from wind, solar. And that's even more important, reduction of CO2 emissions by 20%. Could you go to the next slide? Such large scale and rapid transition to green power system implies 5 key challenges for the country, the government, industry players, and investors. First of all, is it possible to attract such a huge amount of investments by 2035? Second, the power system must meet demand peak and to manage intermittencies of renewables via stable backup sources. What is required from the government and industry player to implement such a huge amount of new generation, plus 35 gigawatts of new capacities and 9,000 kilometers of transmitting capabilities by 2035? Third, current system need to be upgraded. To accommodate such volumes of renewables, a real-time automated control and load management system is required. What are the best practices to implement such system? Fourth, developing skilled workforce and core competences. Uzbekistan energy sector, we required almost 50,000 of qualified professionals by 2035, including engineers, technicians, operators, IT digital specialists. What are the most effective strategies to develop talents in such a short time frame? And finally, the last but not the least one, modernization of market mechanisms and regulatory frameworks. New mechanisms, wholesale and retail segments of the market shall be introduced to incentivize flexible plans and accommodate storages. How policymakers shall coordinate evolution while minimizing risk for investors and players? Today, we will discuss all these 3 challenges with our participants, and let me pass the word to our first panelist, Mr. Abid Malik, President Central Asia, Aqua Power. We know that Aqua Power is doing a lot of projects in Uzbekistan, and very large projects. What kind of support from Uzbek government you expect to implement your projects? And maybe what are your approach to development of skilled workforce required for your projects? Please.
Thank you. Thanks a lot, Igor. Thank you for, on behalf of Aqua Power, I'm thankful to you and organizers for giving us an opportunity to speak here on this very important forum. I also want to congratulate the Ministry of Investment, Ministry of Energy, and all the relevant people who are involved in organizing such a prestigious, conference, annual conference. So congratulated. And last but not the least, congratulations to the entire Uzbek, people for their football team to qualify for that big achievement. So congratulations to all the football fans and Uzbek nationals. Let me take few minutes to introduce who we are. Who is Aqua Power? Aqua Power is a developer, investor, operator of power, water, and green hydrogen projects. We are in 14 countries around the globe. Our capacity of power generation, either in construction, development, or operation, is close to 79,000 megawatt in these 14 countries. And out of that 79,000, 47% of our generation is from renewable. We are one of the largest, if not the largest, in last 1 week, desalinated water producer in the world. We have the ability to produce 9.5 million cubic meter of desalinated water per day. In addition to that, we are one of the few companies around the globe who are developing projects to produce green ammonia / green hydrogen, one in Saudi Arabia, and the second one in Uzbekistan itself. Inshallah, very soon, Yani, within this month, we will be commissioning our first green hydrogen project in Uzbekistan, 3,000 tons per annum. This is the first project that will be operational, and that will, inshallah, bring Uzbekistan to a different platform in the world of green hydrogen. As far as, in the intro, you made two very important comments that, who will finance that and who will bring all these projects. It is happening. It is happening right now. Even on this forum, if you look at it, all the leading investors, including, we are small, EMEA Power, Masdar, EDF, Total, Voltalia, all these, famous names around the globe, they are investing here. They are developing renewable energy project here. The biggest question is, why are they doing it? And why only Uzbekistan? There are many countries around the world who want to be through this energy transition program, but they are not able to cut the red tape. I think the real catalyst behind this investment that has poured into the country, and there are lots of real projects in pipeline, is because of the reforms that were carried out by His Excellency the President of Uzbekistan. And that was 4 or 5 years ago. And not only that, the team which His Excellency has put together, including His Excellency the Prime Minister, the Minister of Economy, the Deputy Prime Minister, the Energy Minister, Minister of Finance, because they are all important contributor in converting those dreams into reality. If you look at last 4 or 5 years, the tsunami of the project that has flown into Uzbekistan is mind-boggling, and it is really a kind of a role model for many developing countries to follow. And the second important thing, in addition to the reform and the team is very committed. Not only just ministers, the people who are working within the ministry, extremely committed people. Because it is easy to say all those sweet things and attract the investment, but when the investment goes into the implementation phase, you come across many problems. And sometime, in some other countries, people give a cold shoulder, they take their own sweet time, but here, no. You bring a problem, they get it resolved there and then. And this is the core reason why all of you are here, by the way, why all of us are here, why there are so many investors in this country, because they do trust the mechanism. Your first question was?
What else you need to implement all your ambition plans? And also about We know about your Shirin College.
Correct. Thank you.
Yeah.
I think at this point in time, you mentioned very good statistics that there are 9,000 kilometers of transmission line. And it's not only in Uzbekistan, everywhere you go, when people go and transfer energy transformation program, transmission line is one of the most important constraint. I think this is where Uzbekistan, whether it's Ministry of Investment, Ministry of Energy and Finance, they'll have to do a lot of very, very important planning, because that is to do with the system studies, the grid stability, and not only that, it crosses 9,000 kilometers of land. And all of those hurdles need to be crossed, because installing PV project, installing wind turbines is less difficult than constructing a 9,000 kilometer of transmission line. So I think that's one place where it is extremely important for the government of Uzbekistan to focus. Second most important, in fact that should be the first important thing, is when investor comes into this country and you bring the FDI of billions and billions of dollars, the question here is, how are you supporting the local economy? How are you doing that? You bring the wind turbines, you bring all the PV panels from outside, you bring lots of stuff imported, but how are you supporting the local GDP and the local economy? I think the most important thing, and we in Aqua Power have taken this as a responsibility on us, that we will encourage as much local content as possible. And we have not just stopped, okay, I find this vendor or I find this manufacturer, if they don't do it, we'll import. No, we are working very closely with a lot of manufacturers. And I would say that go back to again that transmission line concept, because there are certain manufacturers, there is a lot of talent here, there is a capability here, but we are working with them to see the capacity which these manufacturers are not able to see. We are working with them to enhance their manufacturing capability in Uzbekistan to make sure that they produce here. And we are giving them a visibility. We are even providing them technological support to enhance their capacity of manufacturing. Because it's not only manufacturing or the companies will make profit, it will increase the human capital in the country, it will increase the employment, and it will add GDP. In addition to that, we have our recent project which is under pipeline. It's a 2,000 megawatt wind project in Karakal, Pakistan. We put a condition of our wind turbine manufacturer that you are going to manufacture the turbines here in Uzbekistan, which after a lot of convincing, because it's all about economics, why would somebody relocate their manufacturing facility and bring it to Uzbekistan? They need to see the market pipeline. They need to see some incentives. So I'm very happy to share with you that one of the wind manufacturers which we have selected for our Karakal, Pakistan project, 2,000 megawatt, they are actually setting up the manufacturing facility in Karakal, Pakistan for the towers and for the blade manufacturing as well, which is second important thing in the wind industry. I just wanted to share one statistics with you. We recently put our 1,000 megawatt of wind project in operations in Bukhara region. 158 wind turbine. I'm not going to run the quiz show here. It's local content. We're bringing a lot of manufacturing into the country. Quickly, 1 minute on your last question on the Shirin. We, along with Electricity and Water Academy in Saudi Arabia, which is a very prestigious academy that produce in Saudi Arabia that are employable, knowledgeable in many industries across Saudi Arabia, be it petrochemical, be it oil and gas, be it water, be it power. They produce a lot of people. So we have knowledge from Electrical and Water Academy of Saudi Arabia, and now they are collaborating with Shirin College. Those my audience who are in Uzbekistan, they know the Shirin College is
1,000 megawatt of wind and Karakkal, Pakistan, next to our brother of Aqua. We have a storage system of roughly 600 megawatt hour. So it is very important for us. We believe in the country and the leadership and the system and the people of Uzbekistan who are capable, who are correct, who are honest. And the experience we had, nothing but fantastic, whether it's the Ministry of Energy or Ministry of Investment itself. We are, how strongly we believe in it. Coming back to your question, you know, as an investor, we are today, as EMEA Power, operating in 20 different countries. What would an investor need in a country? Obviously, stability, which tick the box for Uzbekistan, a very clear framework of legislation. You know, legislative framework is very important. It inspires confidence to the investor. It makes life easy for working environment. So the legislative framework we find in Uzbekistan is quite comforting, and we are happy with that. Political stability is, again, tick the boxes. The challenges of, it's good and bad. You know, each country has obviously need to maximize the local value add, the local content, and rightly so. The challenge, however, that when you deal with international suppliers or international contractor, they tend to be focused on their home country in terms of importing materials or services.
So for that technology, we already spend 10 more years, work together with Meteorological Bureau and the Power Grid and the other institute. We would like to share this experience with local power grid or Meteorological Bureau. So the third issue, it is we do the international business. We're always thinking, not only sell the wind turbine. Is that possible? We support our customer to build up the relationship with the local economy. So in this project, we are cooperation with Aqua Power. So we are intention to develop two manufacturers locally. One is a blade manufacturer, work together with cinema. That is the largest blade manufacturer in the world so far. And the second is to develop the concrete tower. So then we can support the local employee and also support the local economy. So that's our intention. So generally, when we do the project in locally, and we have several issues we have to consider. One, it is try our best to build up the relationship with our project with the local community. For example, we always, before the project, we give the lecture to the school around the community and let them to understand why we build up this project. So second is we build up domestic manufacture. The third one is we are trying to search some technical college. We are cooperation to give them a training course to try our best to employ as more as possible local labor work. And the third one, the next one is cooperation with local university or institute to develop some new standard, because the different country, they have a different landscape, weather condition, even international standard. They need to understand the local condition. So we develop the local standard and to let our machine fulfill the local condition. So that's all from our side. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Wu. And for clear framing of both challenges and strategies to accommodate wind technologies. And by the way, your English is very fluent, perfect. Thank you. And let me give the word to our final panelist, Mr. Yves Ballier, Vice President, Central Asia EDF Renewables. Dear Yves, based on France's experience as a mature renewable market, what flexible solutions, whether technical or market-based or regulatory, have proven most effective to accommodate renewable energy? Which of this approach would you consider for Uzbekistan, from your experience?
Yes, thank you very much for inviting me to this panel, and it's a real pleasure for me to talk with you and to share my experience, because before being the very new Vice President of EDF for Central Asia, I've worked many years about how to integrate renewables on the French system and beyond on the European system. And I had many exchanges with my colleagues from Spain, Italy, Germany, or Belgium. And first, I want to recall something important. On a power system, you have at every second to balance generation and load. If you don't balance generation and load every second, you can have a blackout. And for historical reason, of course, load has always been variable. The load is different between night and days, between weekdays and weekends, between summer and winter. That means that our historical power plants are flexible by nature. Nuclear power plants, our nuclear power plants are flexible. Hydraulic power plants, of course, are flexible. And also gas turbine power plants are flexible. So it was enough to manage the variations of load before. What is new with renewables development is that they are not controlled by humans, and so we have a new kind of variation. So it's a new challenge to balance load and generation, and we need new tools. The first tool we have developed in European Union was interconnection. If you have less sun or less wind, you can import from your neighbors. And if you are more wind or more sun, you can export to your neighbors. And this is a very efficient way of flexibilities. A second new source, of course, is storage. We had storage for decades now in France through hydraulic pumping storage. When the energy price is low, we can pump water to the upper lake, and when the energy price is high, you can turbine. And what is new, of course, is a battery. Battery, as my previous panelist said, battery is a very, very efficient way to stabilize power grids. And we are now several gigawatts of batteries in France and all over Europe. It's very efficient. And I'm very happy to see that in Uzbekistan, not only wind turbines and solar panels are developing, but also batteries. This is a very good news. And Uzbekistan has also interconnection. It's also good news. And the last tool, I like it very much. It's what I call load flexibility. Load flexibility is a new way of thinking. The idea is to say, may I consume more if there is sun or wind, and may I consume less if there is no wind or no sun. So you adapt your consumption to the generation. It's a new way of system, because on the historical way, you just adapt generation to load. And now you can maybe adapt a part of load to generation. Not all the load, not all the consumption, but a part of it. I'm going to give you some example. Maybe you can charge your electrical vehicle only if there is sun. Maybe you can use more air conditioning when there is sun and less if there is no sun. Maybe you can use your electrical water heaters when there is sun. And this kind of load flexibility is developing in France and in Europe, not only for households or shops or offices, but also in industry. A part of the industry can adapt the load depending on the energy prices. And I hope that in Uzbekistan too, where there are already historical power plants flexible, interconnection, storage now, maybe we can also develop in Uzbekistan the load flexibility through economical signals, through the energy market prices in the future, or maybe through time of use tariff for households or shops or offices. Thank you.
Thank you for sharing experience of France and possible takeaways for Uzbekistan. Let me briefly, because of time, let me briefly conclude our discussion. So we discussed the importance of creating a predictable environment for investors. First of all, regulatory frameworks, etc. The panel also emphasized the need for system flexibility through integration of transmitting lines, batteries, advanced digital solutions, technical solutions, and also finally, very important, you mentioned skilled labor force and localization efforts as required to make the transition successful, inclusive for local talents, and sustainable in the long run. So that's like a great discussion, and thank you all for your participation and presentation. You're presenting your view on Uzbekistan green energy transition. Thank you. I believe we all need to go to the plenary session. Yeah, time to go.